Hello, I'm Derek Wheatley, and welcome to the 5th episode of the Wheatley podcast. I want to thank you for listening, liking and subscribing so far. I want to touch on a thing that I did last week. I made a mistake on the Caroline Flack part where I was talking about the meme she put out about be kind, and I noticed when I listened back to it that I said be nice. It's not a big mistake, it's not a big difference, but you know, my OCD kicked in and I kind of wanted to set it right. To talk about kindness as well, I want to give a shout out to my friend Declan. He's a guy who I train with sometimes in Fusion Training Centre in Jiu-Jitsu. He does it in Tullamore normally, but when he comes across, he trains over with us. He, about 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago now, he sent me a message kind of out of the blue. We'd only really talked about jiu-jitsu up until then on the mats and stuff, and he said he'd start doing a massage and holistic course, and he asked if I wanted to, you know, if we wanted to see if it would help with my anxiety and depression and things like that, because he had read some of my blogs. So, you know, it was just a really, really nice thing for him to do. I hope it helped him in what he was doing, because he's obviously in the middle of the course. He got to try the different stuff he was being shown each week when he was in studying it down in Limerick. I would say that it has helped with my anxiety, because it could not on the day. You know, he'd come over on a Sunday, and on a Sunday evening and a Sunday night, I would obviously feel a lot more relaxed, and even into a Monday, where, you know, the muscles are obviously much more chilled, I suppose, and you just you sleep better obviously on the night too. And it's something you definitely look forward to the following Sunday. So we kind of haven't finished yet, because he's still coming out, but you know, so far it has been a benefit to me. It was completely selfless act on his part for him to do it. I just thought it was such a nice thing for him to do. He has since put out a Facebook page, and you know, I'd love if you went on and liked it and shared it, and you know, asked other people to like it. It's DC Sports and Holistic Massage. You can go on there. His phone number's on there. You can contact him. I would recommend him highly. And it's a coincidence this week we have someone who's already benefited from his massage last weekend. She is a former competitive bodybuilder and a current competitive powerlifter, and her name is Zita McCabe. I got it wrong.
It's all right.
Zita McCabe. I was flying, and then on the big part I messed up. But sorry, Zita, thanks for coming out.
No problem, Derek.
How are you doing today?
I'm grand. Slightly nervous, to be honest.
I think that's understandable. We're in the middle of Storm Jorge outside. You can probably hear that coming through on the earphones. You'll hear the wind and the rain and things like that. So I'm sorry about that little bit of interference. There it is. But
wonderful.
It's great. But you know what it is great about it? It's stopping the noise of the water tank in the background that's wrecking my head every episode. Zita, can you tell us like a short history about your upbringing?
Yeah, so I grew up in good old Willow Park in Athlone, across from the AIT college, and I went to Our Lady's Bower Secondary School, and then obviously after that progressed on to the Bower, or onto the AIT. So that's my little error now after you doing my name wrong. And I suppose it was when I started in college that I was getting more into fitness, because obviously the course I did was business and sports and rec.
Yeah. And
I suppose my influence also would be my dad, because he started off in powerlifting back in the 90s. And so that kind of, you know, got me kind of going as well, because he had a little, like, you know, gym in the garage. So when I was about 5 or 6, I was lifting very light dumbbells. He didn't force me to do it. And little pictures of me then, from when I started, when I was about 5 basically, is when I started lifting weights for fun. Oh. But when I was in the AIT college, that's when I started to get into it a little bit more. Loved bodybuilding. And I suppose that's where I started to go into first, before obviously the powerlifting. And I just love the shape of, you know, doing a kind of a diet and all that for like 16 weeks, you know, and, vigorously training. Everything is down to a T and everything like that. And I'm from Athlone originally. My accent is a bit weird. It's not the normal Athlone accent, but also I know you didn't know this before you were interviewing me. I did elocution lessons, and my parents wanted me, when I was younger, I was very, very quiet. Still kind of am. If people meet me in the street, they think I'm quiet. I'm not when you get to know me. But yeah, I did speech and elocution lessons when I was younger. I went to associate dip in speech and drama.
Okay.
And so that taught me how to speak a little bit better in crowd instances, to control my anxiety. So it's kind of always been there, anxiety, and I didn't realize it until later on in life. So there's a little bit of a waffle history of my life.
No, that's good. That's good. You bring up anxiety there, but what was, I've asked Martin and Josh so far who've come on, like, when did you first become aware of mental health in general?
I suppose when I was a teenager, I've always been aware of certain mentalities that are out there. I didn't really know enough in detail to have a conversation with anybody about it, because I didn't feel comfortable in relation to not having the answers and the background to whatever, I would talk about. But I'd say when my mum was in North Carolina and I was there for Christmas, I heard that a school friend of mine had taken her own life, sadly, after Christmas. And so that was when I was in my 20s. So that's when it kind of hit home that, geez, someone my age is going through something and you wouldn't even think about it. The life and soul of the party, you wouldn't even think it. And it didn't seem like she had a fake persona or anything like that. Loveliest person you could ever meet. You just don't know what's going in someone's head, and you can't be presumptuous either, so that's when I was quite aware of mental health, suppose, when I was like 19, 20.
I think we talked about it before. It is one of those things that we're roughly the same age, so in our teens 30s. One of us mid and one of us is late.
You're nearly 40.
I'm nearly 40. People remind me of that all the time. But, when we're in our teens, it wouldn't have been talked about anyway.
No, because it's something, in my opinion, obviously everyone has an opinion to voice, so my answer mightn't fit someone's criteria of what they think. But when you're a teenager, it's something you wouldn't think about. You talk about boys, obviously, or girls, whatever you're into, whatever soaps are out there in relation to TV shows, anything that's the now, nothing that's mental health. If we don't talk about it, it's not there type of thing when you're a teenager. But now, I think nowadays, it's something that people can talk about, and sometimes, unfortunately, people can't.
Or talk. Definitely.
Or they don't feel they can.
That's another thing. It's the whole thing of it's still seen as a weakness for some people, and it's sad, and that's what happens to people when they end their own lives. They've left with nothing.
That's something I probably bring up later when we talk about it, because obviously not many people will know I have anxiety. And like that, I see it, in my opinion, which people might think, don't be silly, it's not a weakness. But for me to open up and come across as weak, in my opinion, someone else might think, no, don't be silly. It's okay to open out. It's okay to talk. But for me, if I keep everything caged in four walls, it's okay, and no one needs to know about it. But the unfortunate thing about that is, when I had a little breakdown, not a medically confirmed breakdown, because I put things into a box, it'll eventually combust if you don't talk about it. So that's why I feel, you know what, Derek, I think I might as well come on to the podcast, talk about things that, like that, people wouldn't know I have anxiety, or maybe they do and they just never said it.
It's true, and I admire you for coming on. It's as
scary as it is.
It's as scary as it is, right? But I've talked about mine over and over again. So obviously it becomes something that's slightly easier to talk about when I'm coming onto a podcast, you know. But if you haven't talked about it to a certain people who will hear it, it's anxiety itself,
Of course, I had to control my anxiety before I come onto this, but obviously with your lovely soothing voice, it kept me. Well, look, Asher, look, I'm. It'll keep me calm, Obviously, drinking coffee right now is going to elevate the anxiety, but it's up to my mentality as a competitor to control it, which is something I'll talk about later on. Sure, nerves and how I control the anxiety when it comes to competition.
Well, actually, right. We'll go into the anxiety part, because people's anxiety manifests itself in different ways, obviously, and I've talked about how mine does. When you are coming into whether it's a panic attack or just an anxious day, what does it bring out in you? Like,
in what retrospect do you mean?
We talked about in a shop and you leg it,
leg it, literally. I'm like, later, dudes, I'm done. Out the door.
It's that whole thing of just just going. It's that whole thing of just going. What is your, I suppose, way of dealing with it?
Okay, that's what you meant.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Lately, I used to be a defeatist attitude where I'd go, right, I can't be here. I can't be in here in Pennies, or sorry for mentioning a shop name.
Sorry.
If I'm in the shop there and I'm having a little panic attack, the security guard, I'd be thinking, geez, security guard must think I'm some dodgy character coming in here. I'm looking a bit dodgy. For me, if I'm getting palpitations and I'm getting sweaty palms, I need to kind of hold something that's a bit more solid. Like, say I might stay in one area. Just hold on to one of the shelves, look at the furry wall, or look at the furry, pajamas or something. Distraction mechanisms, like something to distract me. But unfortunately, sometimes I find if I don't wear my glasses, I just find it overwhelming, just all the sounds and different things. Like, I don't have ADHD or anything like that, not diagnosed, it's confirmed I don't have any of those. Yeah. But I just find how I control them is just basically 4 squared breathing, a few different techniques I've learned from one of my mates who is studying to do clinical therapy in relation to different things like that. And so just 4 squared breathing, and lately I've decided to fight against the panic attack and just get on with it. I'm not going to let it take over my life. How am I going to leave the 4 walls of my house if I'm going to let something that I can try and control in my mind, do little mechanisms like, I go and do this, and whatever, it might help me get through the day. So staying in the shop a little bit longer, texting somebody, text yourself or one of my best mates or anybody else, any distraction mechanisms. That's what I found have lately helped me come over the panic attacks, and just breathe it. Just breathe it through. Control. Sit down. There's a coffee shop in there now. I'll just sit down, read the paper. So that's
so you've turned to the fight, whereas the flight thing was, it's easier, the flight thing, obviously.
Yeah.
And I've done it way more than I've done the fight part.
Yeah.
So you've decided you'd knuckle down and just go for the fight, like.
I just think that's the natural competitor in me. Like, some people that might be competitors might find that they can't, utilize that energy that they protrude through training or through competition day. But I just found lately, do you know what, I just don't want it to take over. Like, I'm strong-minded, and it seems to be helping me lately that I can go out and do this and that. Like, today's a day off from work, a day off training. Okay, I'm going to go into Storm George, go into town like a crazy woman and look at the shops. The wrong time. But I just found lately it's a bit better. But a few weeks ago, I didn't even want to leave the house.
That's what I was going to actually ask you about.
Yeah.
The effects that it does have in your life. If you are having like a really shocking day, right? Full on anxiety all the time. Like, what do you do to kind of fight back against it? If you're just like you say, just in the house, it doesn't have to be the techniques in your mind or stuff. It can be stuff that you turn to, whether it's music or films or whatever it is. What's your kind of comfort zone when you're in those kind of moods?
Of course, music. I love music.
Yeah.
If I could play an instrument, that would be something that I would definitely do. And it is therapeutic. Like, I'd love to learn acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
I'd love to smash the bejesus out of a drum kit or something like. But I find music is my therapy. I like. Obviously, a lot of people know I like heavy metal, but I do like classical music.
You like a lot of different types of music.
I'm a music junkie. I love every type of music. I see here with your pictures you have here, you like the Beatles. I like the Beatles as well. Like Hans Zimmer. I like different things, whatever mood I'm in. But it doesn't necessarily have to be a particular mood that I listen to. Soundgarden or different stuff like Tool, or. But
I was looking at your record collection the other day, and the difference, in like you say, Hans Zimmer, Soundgarden, all this, it's a huge range. But that's good in the sense that you can reach into those things for emotions as well. Well,
yeah, I find, I suppose this might sound stupid to some people, but I find, like say heavy metal music and stuff like that I can protrude my emotions through that in relation to my training. I like listening to amped music. Some people like amped music, like concerts like Tomorrowland, like heavy rave, whatever tickles your fancy. I love all music, but my particular genre would be rock, heavy metal, old school rock. doesn't have to be like, you know, obviously I'm completely obsessed with like Slipknot and Rammstein. I'm going to see them in the summertime in Belfast. Definitely be wearing my masks up there for the old coronavirus.
Yeah,
you know?
well,
be not a Corona beer.
It's like, yeah, the Corona beer. I heard that about Americans aren't drinking it now or something.
Yeah,
which is weird. It's not the same thing, lads. But I was down at your house the other day. It was Tuesday. And we were chatting about this podcast. But we did listen to music for about 4 hours. Like, it's class.
Is that like I don't invite my mates over? Go, hey, we're just going to watch YouTube via my Chromecast, and we just chill here watching YouTube videos. But no, I just find, you know, you can watch a flipping concert. You know, I'm aware I'm not going to curse. Not going to curse. I swear, if I curse, you're going to get €1 per time I curse. But I'm a devil for that. Like I love watching music, and it's something I love talking about as well. You know,
you're very passionate about it, and it's like
I wish I play it. I wish I could play it.
Of course, and there's obviously plenty of time for you to learn instruments.
There is. I'm only young.
Yeah, but what I was saying, like I went down to your house and I was introduced. I obviously knew Slipknot, but not much about Rammstein and nothing about Lamb of God actually.
Lamb of God are amazing. Yeah. Please listen to them, people.
It's but I
watched them download last year. Amazing.
Yeah, it's you know me. I'm like. Obviously I can play instruments, so I'm nerdy about instruments.
Of course,
but I was like so.
I would just watch you there strumming away, like, you know, I'm like, just, dude.
But the admiration for those musicians, which I wouldn't normally listen to, is, you know, so people should open up a little bit more to music like that.
Yeah, not have a Pandora's box and have a particular, you know, I'm not going to listen to that, but give it a chance. Give anything a shot. Anything.
Exactly. Well, I suppose at this point is probably a good time for me to read out the ad, so we'll get to our sponsors. And then we'll be back to you. Fusion Training Centre, Monksland Athlone. A place to train in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, kickboxing, martial arts and CrossFit. A great atmosphere with experienced coaches and a real sense of community. If you want to join the team, find us on Facebook at Fusion Training Centre or drop in for a chat. Fusion Training Centre, train like a warrior. So, Zita.
Yes, sir.
We're back.
Roger that.
First thing I want to talk about, right, is I know you touched on it a little bit already, but it's the powerlifting.
Yes.
Or is it the powerlifting I want to do first?
What sport I took up first?
Yeah, no, I do. I actually know, because I want to talk about the bodybuilding first, actually. Yeah, because
intriguing topic.
It's a very intriguing topic to a lot of people, because it's such from the outside looking in, if you don't know anything about it, it just looks like, my God, that must be a lot of work. So what's the origins? I know you touched on it a tiny bit already, but what's the origins of your bodybuilding?
Well, my father,
he
did powerlifting first, did what he could in that, was on the Irish team, went to the Europeans and that, and then decided that he had the structure for bodybuilding. So like that, you know, I've been to his competitions and he does the RIBBF competitions in Ireland. And I've been to a few shows over the years, and I was saying to myself, do you know what? I actually like this sport. It might look odd to people, these muscly people on stage showing off their bits in a bikini or a guy in their trunks. Yeah. But I found that it was some form of discipline for me that, do you know what? This is a sport. It is a sport. It's a sport I could be good at. And I got to where I felt, you know what? I did what I could in this. I liked it. Now I don't like it anymore, and went into powerlifting.
What didn't you like about it anymore? What was it?
I suppose I started competing in 2014, and I did a couple of shows here. I did an NPC show then in America. My mum moved to America and remarried about 14 years ago, I think. And I did a show over there, and it's, you know, it's highly competitive, and I'm highly competitive, and I love that. And it's an individual sport. Yeah, it's quite lonely, but it's only as lonely as you make it. You know, obviously different things are out of the window when you are competing. Everything is strategic to your training, your nutrition. Nutritionally, everything is fine-tuned according to what phase you're at in relation to your coach. In retrospect to that, everything is down to a T in grams. So that's where I suppose the topic of body dysmorphia comes in. It doesn't hit a lot of people, some females, some males. It does unfortunately take over your mind. And I suppose in my mentality, I kind of lost sight of what reality was. I became too meticulous with everything, which you do need to be in this. You need to have everything to a T if you're going to showcase your hard work. You know, you're not going to, you know, fumble at some stage and mess up your hard work and dedication. You know, your coach's time, your nutrition, just for the sake of a donut, or just for the sake of a takeaway. all that nice food, all those nice treats, and obviously all those different types of ingredients in them, like Josh was talking about the lactase, or the last day, you know, all the fructose, all the different sugars, how it can affect you. And so I was like, I just kind of got too emaciated looking. I became, you know, I don't have OCD, but I did become very OCD in that. I overtrained, I under-nutritionalized myself, unbeknownst to my coach, because I wanted to get more shredded than what he had planned for a bikini female. And you don't need to be shredded and have striations. Striations are the muscle fibers showing more visibly, you know, and less body fat for anybody who doesn't do bodybuilding. So it's all those nice muscle striations, if you ever seen any anatomy books. So that's what striations are. And I just got too emaciated, and it did affect, as a female, it did hormonally affect me. And so I'm open about talking about that, and it can. Sure, and so that's the main reason why I stopped in that. I just became a person that I wasn't anymore. And
it's obviously the knock-on effect of mental health is huge with that as well.
That's where the anxiety came. You know, an interesting topic with a taxi driver on the way out here, saying that I was doing the podcast and how, you know, I'm talking about anxiety, and and he was, you know, he's Irish taxi man, and you know, nothing against any Irish taxi man, but he was like, you know, but sure, like it was obviously something triggered it off, you know. And I said, it was, I did bodybuilding years ago. And he said, I know a man that does bodybuilding, and I think back in the Shannonside day, Paul McCabe. I was like, that's my dad. I can't go anywhere without anybody knowing me daddy. And you know, it's funny because, you know, he's a paramedic, advanced paramedic, so everyone, you know, knows him. But like that, I was talking about anxiety and mental health, and, you know, I wanted to come to the podcast to talk about fitness and how that can kind of help reduce different parts of that and help me release my the happy hormone serotonin. And he was like, well, I suppose you bring it on yourself. It's whatever you think society thinks that you're thinking, and suppose it's how you are probably quite sensitive. The taxi driver, just to be aware, not my dad saying this, you know, it's how you decipher what society thinks of you. You know, you must be quite a sensitive person if you you know, brought this onto yourself, you know. And I was saying, I was bullied when I was in, actually I didn't mention this, I was bullied when I was in primary school. So that actually still has a knock-on effect in crowd scenarios. And like that, he said, it's probably something you brought on yourself. So very closed off to. But he's right to voice his opinion.
Of course, but that's his thing. But
for someone that doesn't have anxiety, I had to be adamant and put my little footsie down and go, no.
This is obviously there's a way of doing it. But the fact that someone who doesn't have anxiety, doesn't have a mental health disorder, and they're trying to tell the other people who do have it why they have it.
But he's tough, basically trying to be my shrink for, you know, a few minutes that I was coming out of the taxi ride out to you, a very, very expensive one.
But like, he's charging as much as a shrink.
Well, he's making his wage, and he's every right.
Good on him.
But like that, he's putting me in a box that's why you're like that. But what about A, B, C, D, and E? Or what about, you know, the multiple boxes that, you know, I could be part of? And what really annoyed me was it's you know, it's the social media, he said. It's the social media. And no, fair enough. I'm on social media, whatever, but you can't just blame that factor. No. I said there's different factors. If you have stressors in work, stressors, you know, here and there, all of them can have an add-on effect,
of course, and
can affect you to the point where your anxiety is overwhelming. So it's not, you know, just social media, it's an accumulation of everything, you know. And I get quite passionate about that because when I did the bodybuilding days, yes, I did get a few trolls via Messenger and a few perverts, but there's a nice little button you can go and do block, you know. You have the control mechanism to filter that, but unfortunately sometimes it just takes that one little person or big person to just say one thing that just can mess up your day, and you don't have to be sensitive. It just might have got you on it. What the heck? What did they say that for? And you'd be just, you know, and then it's like, oh, why can't I control my emotions on that point? It just, you know. I
think as well as that though, and I have no doubt that you've heard this from people before, and it does become really irritating.
Oh, I concur.
You
can see my eyebrows raising.
I love that word, concur.
I concur.
But it is one of those things that is so, it kind of, it would wreck your day. It'll wreck your weekend by someone just telling you, and you're
Thank
like,
you.
oh,
So you agree, because
for
obviously you
sure.
understand.
For sure,
so
I
you have an
agree,
understanding.
Yeah, I agree. I think they need a little bit more, I don't know, mute button.
Yeah.
Or turn the volume down a bit, maybe, because blaming social media for everything is the wrong way to go. I mean, sometimes it can be quite toxic, but it depends how you use it, though.
Yeah, but it is how, like, I've decided over the years that I'm just going to, if I put up something there the other day, I don't know, it's just kind of, coronavirus, I'll share that. It's just, a bit, maybe somebody hasn't read that in the news, I'll just share that. And somebody went on, it's not confirmed yet. And I was like, it's actually, it is confirmed that person in Westmead doesn't have it. And he went on, and fair enough, he mightn't have seen the article. It's not confirmed yet. And I was like, here's the article, have a good read there. It's confirmed that he doesn't have it, but he might get it again. You just don't know. But like that, I was like, what, I'm just not going to waste my energy. I'm just going to delete this post, because like that I can control it.
Exactly. And it is your page.
It's my page.
Yeah.
Everyone has every right. I'm not saying that he was wrong to mention that. I'm not saying I'm right and he's wrong. I was just like, I don't want to have to waste my energy.
No.
Where I don't want to have a bad day where someone is like, no, it's a harmless topic. But it's just like, I sound like, what, you need to be right, Zita. This person can't be right. You're going to beat them. And I'm like, it's not a competition. But like that, I'm just like, I'm just going to delete the post.
Yeah.
And like that, I just very rarely, I just post my videos of training. Like that, it's like my progress of my strength, and hopefully can inspire somebody that I want to get into fitness, this is great, I'm not going to be some, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's the best ever, for bodybuilding, and Heather Connor that I follow for powerlifting, she's an American athlete, I met her last year at Abs Powerlifting, and I'm online coached by Dav and up in Abs Powerlifting Club, and that club has helped me so much. I'm around people like myself in relation to tattooed, and it's not just a club for people with tattoos like rock music, there's variations of different people, but Jay Farrant is like, he has a great club there. It's a great club environment, and there's loads of different clubs like Strength Militia up in Belfast, there's City Gym in Limerick, it's a great community. And then there's the Athlone Powerlifting Club as well, where I started, and I progressed onto a different coach, and I'm progressing as a person, I'm getting stronger, and for Abs Powerlifting, that has helped me utilize, any bad days I'm having. I just go up there on a Sunday, and it's I make a trek, but I want to go places where powerlifting, it might take me a while. But I'm going to put the heart graft in. And because of the club there, and I'm around so many cool people that are there to help you. And, it's I've changed so much joining powerlifting, like.
And that's I talked a bit about fusion, and it sounds the same coming back to me. Do you know that passion for it, and a place where it's like another home, and I think that's class, But like, why you obviously stopped doing the bodybuilding, Where did you start with the powerlifting then?
Well, I always lifted weights. I always loved lifting heavier than the boys in the gym. I'm like, damn boy, I can lift heavier than you. And then I was like, maybe I should compete. Obviously I'm not competing against the guys, I'm competing against women, and so I'm in the sub 63 weight class, and that suits me. Now, it took me a while to get used to filling out in relation to filling my muscles more, with utilizing them with the proper nutrition. And I suppose I always lifted weights when I was 16, and I'm like 36 this year, so I've lifted weights for a long time. And the only real difference is it's periodized. So periodization, it's planned particularly for the lift you're doing. So there's squat, bench and deadlift. So there's little assistant training things that I do. Assistant training would be, say, stuff like, dumbbell curls, chest press variations, lat pull down. So different exercises that can help make you stronger for bench, help make you stronger for squat, and help make you stronger for deadlift. So the only real difference is my training is more specified to my sport, whereas the bodybuilding is to get as lean as you can in relation to the spec that they have for the bikini class that I was doing. So it's the only real difference. I'm lifting weights in both sports. Just nutritionally, I can have a little bit more relaxation in relation to, I can have a donut here and there.
Yeah.
You know, I can have, you know, a fake away. You know, I don't eat meat, so, you know, my coach didn't realize that. He's like, damn girl, what do you eat? I'm like, oh, yeah, there's plenty of other variations of protein. You can have your plant-based ones. You can have your, you know, your peas, like your, you know, your chickpeas, your lentils and everything. So, but I eat fish. So, you know, so that's the type of stuff that I would eat then. Like
that was another thing I was going to ask, because it's the difference in when you sometimes post older pictures
I just kind of, you know, miss those shreds as being really lean, and then I'm like, nah, just get out that daydream, get back to being nice voluptuous woman with curves,
but
that I like, not just because men like it.
Exactly. But that's the thing about it. Like, you obviously, when you were doing that, when you were doing the bodybuilding thing, that's what you liked.
But that's what I liked at that part of my life. That's what I loved doing. I still love the sport. I still go and watch it. My dad competitively competes in that on the Irish team in the Masters over 50.
It's incredible though,
and admiration for an advanced paramedic shift work as an 8-year-old, you know, daughter with my stepmom. So, you know, if my dad can do that, have, you know, family life like that, and also my brother and me, then there's no excuse for anybody to go out for a walk, to clean up their eating, to go to the gym. You know, it doesn't have to be like a form of dictatorship. You have to do it this way. You know, anybody can do it. It's all about the mind. It's all about getting a little bit disciplined. Few of my mates would say, oh, it's too difficult. No, but that's you restricting yourself of thinking it's difficult. But what about if you write down in a journal of how you're feeling and why you went off the bandwagon in relation to nutritionally eating shizzle. I'm not going to curse, you know, I'm going to do Snoop Dogg and I'm going to Snoop Dogg it, shinizzle. But like that, everybody is capable. It's just a matter of willpower. And you know, it's too difficult, Zita, to do it. But no, what how are you feeling right now? Not great. If like what Josh was saying, nutrition can affect your mentality, and you can have that brain fog. Why? Write down what you were eating. You can pinpoint then. If you don't have a clue, seek out help in relation to, maybe go to Josh, you know, your friend you had on the podcast. Look out, there's free guidelines out there with the HSE, you know, and different things. Not just HSE. A few people mightn't like the HSE, so I'll just, you know, snip that on the bud there. But or nip it on the bud. You know, there's different online help in relation to nutrition. It's not going to be a web of, oh my God, there's so much out there. What will I do? Do what suits you. Do what suits your job and stuff. Do what suits your lifestyle. Try and cut out the bad stuff.
Well, you're saying about people, you know, that you might be talking to, and they might be having a tough day, and they'll say, you know, I can't do this, can't do that. When you're having a particularly anxious day, and I know you have your training schedules and stuff, how hard is it to get out there?
Can you repeat the question? I was drinking water there. I got distracted.
When you're having a particularly anxious day, how hard is it to train?
Train and then nutrition,
Well, not just train even, because you have to go to Dublin, you have to get on the bus, you have to do the, you know, when you're going up there.
On a Sunday. So Sundays I train in Dublin. Tuesdays, Thursdays and Fridays I train in the AIT gym. And it's just across the street from work. So I'm a stubborn little woman. I have a competition coming up, the AB series in May 5th in abs powerlifting in Dublin. So I need to get stuff done. I need to get out the door. If I'm having a bad day, suck it up, go to the gym, get the training done, get in and get out. My headphones are there. I listen to the music that'll calm me down. There are times I might be a little bit jittery. That could be the enhancement of caffeine. But I just get the work done because I'm naturally competitive within myself.
It's your mindset then.
It's my mindset, but I think I take after my dad as well, because he's highly competitive as well in his sport, but calm and collectively so. And I think I've utilised that type of mannerisms as well in relation to how I decipher how I'm feeling and train. My dad always says, get in and get it done, get the training done, you know, suck it up. Someone else is always going to be better than you. Get in and get the training done.
I talked to Martin about that. I was in CrossFit at the time, and I was like looking at everybody else lifting these weights, and I was like, oh, I should be able to lift, and that's not the way to go.
Anybody can lift weight. It's a progression. It takes time. It's like with eating. You know, I know, like Martin was saying, you know, the different plans that he was doing for, you know, the I think it was like 6 week, 8 week challenges.
Yeah, 6 weeks.
And obviously helping people along the way. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It takes time. It takes the body time to adapt. People might lose pounds and a few kgs initially. Obviously, a lot of that is water weight. And then after that, it's body fat. So that's why it's always good, obviously, you know, to get the measurements and not go by the scales, because that's what effed me up, the scales, years ago.
You're doing well with this
question. Oh, the F-bombs are not going to be coming out. I'm so trying hard.
So you're doing well. I've got this question. I'm going to go a roundabout way of asking.
Lord of mercy.
No, it's not that bad. It's not.
Lord of mercy.
Okay, so when I started in jiu-jitsu, you know, after a few months, everybody's like, yeah, you're going to compete, because other people were obviously competing. So I was like, absolutely not. It's the worst thing that I could possibly do. And obviously there was something inside me that went, oh, the lads are doing it, like I should really do it. That's the wrong way to go about it, I know now, but I was thinking about it. So I asked David, who is he's our brown belt in fusion, and I said to him, I'm just not, like, I'm so anxious about things in general. The idea of competing on top of that would be awful, right?
Question though, throwing it back at you, but is that the pressure you're putting on yourself?
Yeah.
And you're comparing yourself to everybody else of how you see how good they are, but how many years are they at that there?
Yeah,
you're only you know
there's definitely a sense of that.
Yeah,
there's a sense of like lads who started at the same time me, they were going competing and everything was excitement and stuff, and you know, but David said to me, if you're not comfortable on the mat in that, you know, football, like basketball arena, wherever it is, you shouldn't be there. Like, and all of a sudden it was like, thank you, because he's the like the highest level in our gym. Now, there's where the question comes around. Wait to see this.
Okay, throw it at me.
Don't
throw it at me. Jesus, don't throw your notebook.
When you've competed twice in powerlifting, is that right? Is it more?
Genie Mac. A few competitions. I'd say about 5.
So, I'm going to say, how, when you have anxiety, do you turn... Because you don't like crowds, you've told me before. I'm the same.
It's not because I don't like them. I don't like you.
You're nervous. You're nervous. You're anxious in crowds situations.
Nervous. Yeah, when there's a lot of people.
You told me, and I think I saw some of it. There's like a rock band there.
Yeah,
There's a person eating fire.
There's a cool girl. She's a fire breather, man. That's at like the abs powerlifting series. They don't have them at the abs, the IPF comps, which is what I'll be doing maybe later in the year, because I want to qualify for nationals, and which is, I want to eventually get onto the Irish team. But you don't just get it given to you. You put the hard graft down, you get the work done, and if you get your totals and like a high weight percentage for all your lifts, then you get onto the team. You don't just get it. So the fire breathing and the rock band,
it's just everything. Like you talk
there's
about
a lot
senses.
of stuff going on.
Yeah. How does your anxiety, how do you deal with that?
I should have been in a band, man, because I love I love it. Do you know what, the rock band, Genova, they're brilliant. And then the fire breather, I can't remember her name, but it's quite warm.
I can imagine.
Just quite warm. But between that and you're overheating with the anxiety, I suppose with your question, how do I control anxiety in that? Do you know what, I nearly perform best. There was a time in my old powerlifting club where I looked up to this club that I'm now part of, and I thought that I'm never going to be as good as those. And I was always thinking, I'm never going to be as good as these athletes. And then that used to overcome me at competitions. I'd never bomb out, which bombing out means, you do your lift and you fail to attempt to do it. I didn't really progress as the best I wanted. So I just found with the club I'm in now, I'm using the weights, the plates, I'm using the environment that the competition is at. So I suppose it's a familiarity now. I'm familiar with the territory. That helps me know what environment I'm coming into. So in relation to the anxiety, everyone gets anxious, even the best, even some of the lads in the club that I'm part of, even some of the women, they do have the nerves, but nerves can be a good thing. And for me, I can compete well under pressure. And I love it. It's now showcasing my hard work. It's just like my coach Dav says to me before I go into the platform, it's just another lift that you do in the gym. That just calms me. I don't go around prancing around the place like a big peacock or something like that. Like I'm the bee's knees going around here. Everyone is just as good as everybody else, and so I just use that. I absorb the energy, and the crowd's amazing, and everyone's there to support you. They're not out to get you.
That's great.
So that's how, I just know the environment. I know the people. And it's just class, and the rock band just helps it even more.
Yeah.
I must have been a rock chick in a past life, man.
You
Definitely.
are in this life.
Well, I it's not that I can't. It's just going to take time. I
Yeah.
cannot sing. I'd say I'd be the biggest. I'd say my fan base would be Wailing Cats.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Can I ask you there, because you did say the support in the crowd, right, which is huge, and I guess for you, I'm not putting words in your mouth, obviously.
No.
You being on stage is better than you being in a crowd looking at up on the stage.
Do you know, it's weird. They're looking at me, whereas sometimes I'm at a competition, I'm around an environment, and I just think it's just being in with everyone, I should feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
Whereas looking at me performing my lifts, it should affect me. But no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Like when I'm in the crowd, yeah, I'm around different people. I feel people are looking at me, oh, what if I'm this way and that way? I feel they're judging me. You know, it's not because of, oh, I should look a particular way because
Yeah.
I should, because society says this and that. It's just me being stupid.
I don't think it's you being
You know.
stupid. I think it's you being, just being you. Like, that's fine.
Oh, what if there's chocolate in my face or a bit of Americano spilt and stained on me? You know, just stupid things.
Do you not
like
do that when you leave the door? I do that every time I leave the house.
Yeah, well, what if I'm drinking coffee in the venue, man?
That's fair. Do you think there's a difference then in the crowd who go and watch the powerlifting to the crowd that go and watch bodybuilding?
Definitely.
Really?
Absolutely. The difference is you're there to lift a weight. You don't lift it, hard luck, do it again. There's support mechanisms there. Where I'm in a crowd watching, the RBBF in Limerick, that my opinion is I will be there watching someone do their routine in relation to, if you have a routine, it would be how you do your T-walk in the bikini, which I used to do, how you, particular stances you have to do when you come on to the rules and regulations, what the judges are looking for, from your hair, your makeup, your tan, how you look. Then you have the extra judges who are people like me or you or in the crowd. Oh, I don't think that he should have got this place. Oh, he's a little bit here. He should do a bit more work, this and that. And you have them, and you can hear them in the crowd. You wouldn't hear that when you're up on the stage because you have the UL, concert hall lights beaming your face. And you have to, just feel that everyone's supporting you, but when you're out in the crowd you're judging as well as the judges. And I think with that, and then the social media and all these trolls affected me, that's where the anxiety just engulfed into overdrive, and I had a thing called adrenal fatigue where every stressor affected me, and it was a horrible experience. It was horrible.
I always saw the kind of bodybuilding world as because, like you say, you're going on and it's complete judgment.
Oh, it is, yeah.
When you have a weight in your hand, it's up to you.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
You've done the training. You've done the graft. Your coach, if you're online coach or you're coached by someone, if you don't live in Dublin or whatever, you're being online coached by your coach. It's up to you. Put the graft in. They put the plan in place. I do the nutrition myself because I've done it from the bodybuilding days. I'm not a nutritionist like Josh you had on the last day. I'm an exercise nutrition advisor.
Okay.
I've done that, so I can give advice in relation to the content of your carbs, proteins and fats, of what you should be eating in relation to your sport. And for me, obviously I need a higher percentage of carbs. Obviously I need protein with every meal because I need to keep the muscles fueled, and I need to rejuvenate everything after training.
Of course,
and obviously supplementation as well, like BCAAs and creatine and different things like that, and these help with recovery and also help with strength. And suppose all these factors are helpful for the powerlifting.
You're competing in May, did you say? Yeah.
No, actually, I'm competing in April 5th, so it's only a couple of weeks out in abs.
Are you driven by like competition now, or is it just by the love of the sport?
It's the love of the sport. It's not because this weight class did this lift, I want to be up. Obviously I have my little idols that I idolize in my club, there's some serious athletes in my club, great admiration. So they don't think we're watching what they're doing, and they're helping us be motivated as well. I'm my own motivation. It takes willpower and motivation to get you to the gym. What makes me go after a 12-hour shift in work?
Yeah.
Because I want to do well.
Yeah.
I want to place well. That's the competitiveness in me. It's not just obviously it's to feel good as well mentally. I find if I have a stressful day in work, I go to the gym, the happy hormone is released. I feel amazing. I'm buzzing when I go home.
Yeah. You know, you talk. Obviously, we've spoken a lot about anxiety, and
Uh-huh.
it's something I want to ask, and I missed the question. Have you ever thought about taking medication for it? Has it ever been a thing in your head?
No, I never wanted, and it's my choice. Everyone has their own choice. I obviously I have cystic of acne, and that progressed after bodybuilding because I just messed up my hormones, and so it just came back like I'm a teenager again. So the doctor had prescribed me anti-malarian drugs for my acne, and I didn't react too well to it. I gained about 10 kgs, and he said that's impossible, and I said, well, obviously everyone adapts to medication differently. It's a steroid at the end of the day. And so I just didn't really believe in medically inducing myself with different medication. And so I came off that, and I just did the holistic approach. And like what Josh was saying the last day, it's all about your nutrition and how it can affect your mental health. And I just found that cutting meat out of my eating, and eating, fish and plant-based products. And I have IBS as well, so I eat gluten-free stuff, not because of the bandwagon of just eating gluten-free products. I'm not promoting anything like that now, but it's just I mentally feel better when I don't eat meat. Meat takes a lot more to digest, a lot more in the digestive system to use up to break down the food, and fish doesn't take as much. And I find mentally I don't have brain fog, don't feel tired and sluggish. And I've always been relatively clean in eating, so it wasn't because sluggish from eating sugary kind of foods, really bad carbs. It's just because my body didn't respond well, and I didn't feel great from eating meat. My choice. Obviously I'm missing out on a lot of nutrients, so I do take creatine supplements, which you get from your red meat. I take protein from plant-based protein as well, because there's only a certain amount of plant-based stuff you can have to enhance that. And obviously different people can disagree with me. Yes, there's plenty, but in plant-based products there are carbs as well. I need to have my carbs particular gram dosage for my training. So having my carbs from, say, my sweet potatoes or brown rice or basmati rice, which is a quick carb, I can have that after training, so it shuttles into the bloodstream quicker after training. Brown rice pre-training, slower release, keeps me fueled longer for training, keeps the glycogen stores topped up. So I found for me, just having my nutrition more kind of fine-tuned like that, I perform better. So at this stage I have an idea of how my body reacts, and it's by primarily eating fish. So you're at the time now you're happy enough with dealing with anxiety your own way. And that's it. Like I just changed my nutritional aspect of things. I just cut out red meat. I worked in the States. My mom lives in North Carolina, and I worked in a place called Juice Vibes. Check them out on Instagram. And I was challenged by my mate of mine there to go just 30 days. Just go. She said, I'm vegan. It's going to be quite difficult. So just cut out red meat. Cut out all meat. Just eat fish. I felt great. I said, you know what? I'm just going to cut it out. And I felt amazing. And that's 2015. I haven't looked back. Sometimes I look at a nice, dirty, juicy burger and I'm like, jeez, I wouldn't mind tackling that.
It looks good.
Looks good.
And I know we've obviously touched on it, but anxiety then, if you are particularly anxious, are there people you'll call on? Are you happy to? I know you said earlier on that you haven't talked a lot about it.
No, because not many people know. Because I have this perception that people think, oh, this is Zita, she did the bodybuilding and she did the powerlifting, but it's how I think everyone thinks I am. Oh, she's quiet, she has the rest and bitch face, as one as my friend said. Curse word, sorry. But it's in my point of view, I don't go around with this big smile on my face, like as in, oh wow, look at me coming down the street, look at me, my big smile. Like I don't know, it's just not me. I just going around with a grumpy face, and I'm not a grumpy woman at all. It just takes a lot to push my buttons, even though I'm a redhead.
But it's like not every, I suppose this is braver for you to come on than most people because you haven't talked about it. And
I suppose it's therapy in a way. I actually am feeling great talking about it.
Good, I'm glad.
Do you ever consider being a counsellor, Derek?
That's the next step.
It's your calling.
I'm going to counsel people on the podcast.
Yes.
No,
I'm cured.
But it's great. But I think it's really, I do think it's honestly brave. And I knew that you you'd spoken to me about it, and maybe it was easier to speak to me because I
understand.
Exactly. That's it. And I've talked about it before, and you know, if this brings out conversations with other people that you're comfortable with, like that, that'd be good for you. Like, it's cool.
Well, I suppose it is, yeah, because I don't. In my head, I just didn't want to come across as vulnerable. I don't want to come across as vulnerable because then I look like I'm someone that can be broken down more.
Okay.
So that's my point of view. I'm already broken.
We all are.
I'm broken.
But I have to ask about this.
Oh God, what is it?
No, because Zita's wearing my fusion hoodie, right? Because it's pretty cold in this house.
Your house is Baltic.
Right, I know, but I forgot.
Oh no!
Nearly about the tattoos because you were covering it.
Oh man, yeah.
How important? How important are tattoos?
How important are they? Are they to me or
to you? Yeah. As your own kind of, as your image or whatever way you want to, you know.
Well, I suppose I don't get tattoos because they're cool and they're in right now. Like when I'm like 90, I'm like, why did I do that? I just love body art. I love expressing myself through music, through tattoos. I just love it. Like when I was in secondary school in Our Lady's Bower, I loved art. I was quite good at life drawing.
Okay.
Not as good as at abstract stuff. I loved body art. I'm intrigued by it. You know, it's just like, I don't know, it's just a kind of a sense of kind of relief as well. I get tattoos, I love it. I'm kind of one of those weirdos that likes pain.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I don't.
Not many people do that.
No.
You don't have tattoos.
I think that the side of you, I suppose, it's part of you, like the tattoo, the image of it.
It suits me.
Yeah.
And basically I was born with tattoos.
Does every tattoo have a meaning, or is it because you liked a certain drawing, or?
I suppose the one on my right arm, which is like a samurai female, and it has a female face and it has a samurai sword around, like kind of the. I suppose if you're going to upload a picture, so it sounds a bit weird when I'm describing it. Yeah. So Hayes Tattoo, Damien, he's the Polish guy I go to in Athlone, just down by the Dark Horse. He's brilliant, and he did this piece that I wanted, and it was basically to represent me. I know I'm not Asian, but it's just I just loved. Just the representation of like a samurai with you know, her sensei teaching her, and just basically, you know, representing strength, a strong female. Yeah. You know, and I just feel stronger now, and I thank Abs Powerlifting for that as well. It's just, you know, there's just such a great support mechanism. Like, you know, not a lot of them know. Only very, very few in there, like one or two the girls would know. But I just find the environment is just, you know, you have the laugh. Yeah. You know, it's great crack. Brilliant.
Talk to me about your latest tattoo.
My latest,
because it is class.
Which one?
You know, the one you got in your thigh.
The one in this leg.
Yeah.
It was funny. I went into work the other day and one of the lads was like, "So how's your tattoo going?" I was like, "What are you on about? Your tattoo on your leg?" I'm like, "Oh, the one on my leg." He's like, "Yeah, the like dominatrix one." I'm like, "Damn boy, no, it's not a dominatrix one."
No.
Yeah, so basically Magda there, she's a piercer, she's an apprentice tattooist, and I had this really cool idea, and she's learning at the moment and she's brilliant. And so basically it's a heart, an outline of a heart, and inside it's a female's derriere with suspenders and handcuffs. I just thought it was a class idea.
Fun,
you know, and I suppose when I told my mum about it, I don't think my dad knows it. He probably will now if anybody tells him the podcast. But my mum in North Carolina like had me in loudspeaker with my stepdad Trip, and they were like, "Why did you get that on your leg? Like, you know, like it's something a man." This drove me mad. Something a man would get done on his body. A female's derriere, or I have a female on my right arm, and I have a dead girl on my basically on my left arm. I'm straight. I don't veer that way. I have friends I veer that way. I'm all for it.
Yeah,
you know, I'm supportive of my friends. My mum went on for ages about it. She said, "Why'd you get that on your leg?" You know, and like they're talking about it for ages. And I was like, I just thought it was a class idea. I just think it's cool. I'm comfortable in my skin, and I can get whatever the fudge I want in my body.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I changed the subject. What's the weather like in North Carolina?
It's one of those ones though, because
it's different. It's very different. Yeah, it's out there, and I love it. I like that. Who wants to be the same as everybody else?
For sure, yeah.
That's my opinion. I like to be different.
I would say I have no problem with tattoos. Some of them are class.
Some of them are dire as well.
Some of them, of course, yeah.
You know,
the only thing I love enough to put on would be the Beatles. But
of course, you love the Beatles.
Yeah, or Joaquin Phoenix on my back, just a massive full face of Joaquin Phoenix.
Of him, like as actor, or
him as actor.
Him in character as the Joker,
no,
which I love to get done. But everybody's getting that done now.
No, him as just Joaquin, just having dinner.
He's amazing.
Yeah, no,
See
I
his
wouldn't
girlfriend,
really.
she's amazing. Or fiance.
Rooney
Damn.
Mara, she's a great actress actually.
She's very good. Girl with the dragon tattoo, was
That's
it?
It was actually really, she was really good in that.
Very excellent. Yeah,
so
bleached eyebrows.
Yeah.
Good look.
Is it a bleached eyebrows?
Yeah. Or shaved. Can't remember. Need to watch that again.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're right. Sorry, yeah. But yeah, so I don't know if it's the pain element, because it's very hard to experience a certain type of pain if you've never felt it before.
It basically it's like somebody doing Chinese burn for a couple of hours.
But it's no problem to you, no.
Sometimes there's are different sensitive areas that they say, like they have a map of the red spots on the body, like the inner arm, the calf, the different parts of the body that are harder. I'm just a stubborn woman. And
where's the sorest part then for you?
The sorest part for me was in the bicep. That was horrible. Into the creased part of the elbow. Inner part of the elbow. I found that horrible, absolutely nasty. Because it's just basically because I'm not shredded. I'm not a lot of body fat there, and I just feel everything.
Okay.
But it's easier for the tattoos to tattoo you though when there's not as much body fat there.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, it's just easier for them to stretch the skin and just tattoo the lines and stuff.
I can imagine actually just thinking.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a tender area, but you just suck it up. But after I get it done, it's fine. It's just until I meet somebody in the street and go, "Well, Zita, haven't seen you ages. How you doing?" And for some reason, they just tend to hit the area I get tattooed. It's like they know I'm
they
sore.
Know what you're at.
They know they watched.
But is there any question you want to ask me? You don't have to. It's better if you don't.
I think it's deserving to throw the mic back in your corner. You're like, oh no, what she's going to ask me. I'm only joking. So, do you find the podcast in a way therapeutic for getting out there about mental health? Do you find it like a therapy session without going to counselling?
I actually do. Actually, that's a deadly question. I won't go too into detail about. I was chatting to someone yesterday in training. Yeah. In the office, and they were telling me this story, and I was like, she's going to come on, like, but so I won't talk about the story, but it was unbelievable. But just chatting to someone who was so comfortable coming to me, I mean, there was like, we were talking for 45 minutes in the office. She was so comfortable coming to me, and it's to do with like the birth of her first child and what happened around it.
She didn't go into details of the birth, like it was just
she went into what went after.
It was the mental health aspects,
it's the mental health. So she spoke about it in length, like, and I was sitting there at the time kind of going, I was amazed that someone who I didn't know would come to me and talk about this stuff.
But the funny thing is with you, Derek, I know I worked in Golden Disc and stuff, and you popped in there, and I was there. Like, I chat to all the customers and stuff. You just seem like a person that people would feel comfortable talking to. You kind of have that persona, and I suppose in that sense, she felt she could open up to you. And like my point of view as well, I felt comfortable enough. Obviously, I wanted to meet up for a few coffee sessions to feel comfortable enough to come onto the podcast. So you have that energy in a non-hippie way perception of comfortableness in talking to you. So I think, coming onto the podcast, it is quite nerve-wracking when a mic right up to your eyeballs talking to yourself, because you can hear the feedback. So she felt comfortable talking to you, like. Yeah,
and I've obviously spoken to a couple of people have messaged me, and to me that's I think the therapeutic thing is the fact that people are coming back with stuff. That was the whole point. Yeah, you're getting positive. Yeah. At some stage you might obviously like it is in society, you'll have some negative feedback. Sure, but you'll have that. You'll just, nip it on the bud, get on with it. Well, what I'll do is I'll set John on them, and I'll just no better woman, where are they at? I'll go at them. I'm not for violence at all. So just slot that. Do you know what I did say? My mum said that to me. She was that was the only concern she had about it, and she said, look, if someone, some people might be coming at you and stuff, and I said, look, they are trolling a mental health podcast. How sad would that be? Like, because they have nothing better to do in their lives, because they're sitting there eating there with their greasy food. Well, that's my perception. They could be a complete nerd like you or me. It's true. A troll can come in many shapes or forms, but they have nothing better else to do. It's true. And like that. Yeah. Like to answer the question, obviously straightforwardly, it would be yes. Like, it's been great. Like, I've shared my story, but I'm loving having people talk about themselves. Like, 'cause you're meeting different people, different personas, different perspectives of how they deal with different mental health aspects, and of course you're going to have different variations along the way, which is a good variation for people to go, do you know what, I feel the same, and it might help people to come forth, go seeking help and talking. That'd be so. It's definitely going to reach out to a lot of people, and it's a good advocation for making people more aware. Obviously, it's a podcast about mental health, and if it could help somebody
it's going to help loads.
And it'll help me in the sense of, you know, you're talking about how you deal with your anxiety. Another person will deal with another way, and it might give me a little bit of a, you know, I might say, well, I'm having a bad day, maybe I can try doing it Zita's way, or
Carlito's way.
Yeah, it's Carlito, even Carlito's way.
Yeah,
that's a good film too, actually. But it's just that thing of, I'm learning from other people, like nutrition and, you know, discipline from you, and it's, you know, it's great.
But it's a big thing. I know I'm waffling on. You want to get on with the podcast. You're like a director cutting it. Just stop talking.
I didn't say that.
No, I'm joking. he didn't. But definitely, I totally agree with, like, you know, Martin and Josh, who's listening to their podcast. Nutrition is a big factor. Yeah. The microbiome, you know, it's a second brain, the digestion system. So definitely
look into it.
it. Just the chemicals, like the bad food.
So close.
The bad food.
Don't ruin it now.
No, I'm not going to ruin it. Did I ruin it?
No,
I didn't say it. I'm like, don't curse. I'm doing so well, because it would be at least €20 at least at this stage. But definitely the microbiome. You have that fine-tuned nutritionally, and eat your clean food. Clean food is in, you know, stuff that's not produced from air, you know what I mean? Stuff that's as close to the earth as possible. It can help reduce the inflammation in the body, like, you know, the bad stuff that goes around there. So I'm a big believer that nutrition affects mental health, and there is big studies there, like Josh was saying there.
I'm gonna have to and other people who are listening, I'm gonna have to start doing it now, because I can't listen to this every week and then not do something about it, you know.
Why don't you set up a challenge for yourself?
Well, this is what me and Josh were talking about. This might do the diet he's on and see how I get on with it, you know.
I would never say a diet, but I say just like clean up your eating.
Yeah,
maybe diet makes it like sound restrictive. So I'd say
the plan or something, you know.
The master plan.
The master. We'll get together on that. Me and Josh will sort that out, and we'll see how we get on. Listen, Zita, thanks very much for coming on.
No problem.
It was deadly.
I didn't really waffle that much.
No.
Brilliant. So 3 coffees didn't make me go off tangent.
It's incredible. Because if 3 coffees, I would not be on this podcast if I had 3 coffees.
You'd be climbing the walls like something from The Grudge or something.
I'd be under that duvet over there.
No, but, that's just freaky, man. That's just as freaky as the clothes hanger downstairs. I thought that was a person.
That's like a person standing in the corner.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
I've learned a lot, and it's been great. I want to thank also my partner, Josh. He is, or John. I'm getting all so confused.
Are you having a relationship his wife doesn't know?
with John and Josh.
Oh, damn.
No, thanks to John in particular, because he's doing all the hard work behind the scenes. As always, thanks to Jeremy, my mum, my father, and my grandfather. Follow us on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to that if you would. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I don't need to tell you the tags every time. You'll find us. Just go to the Wheatley. We're also on Spotify, Apple, Podbean, Breaker, Overcast. We have to be Pocket Cast, Google Podcast, and Radio Public. I can't get away from, like, I don't know. We just had to be. Did I say Anchor? No, sorry, Anchor as well. That's an important one.
Never heard that one.
That's Anchor. Actually, to anybody who's doing a podcast, Anchor is you send your John sent our podcast.
Oh,
right?
It has to be approved.
It's approved, but then they send it to everyone else, so we don't have to send it to like Spotify. So
they do all the dirty work.
It's class, it's really good. Actually, I wonder how much work John is actually doing. I don't know.
You may get him on the podcast and ask
him. Listen, thank you very much to Zita again, and to everybody for listening. And we'll talk to you next week. Take care.
Bye.